Hey guys, this is Victor, the Wise Traditions Nutritionist. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different and give you an inside look at what goes on inside my patron Q&A. And there's like hundreds of hours of video in there actually that you can watch with me, my clients, etc. And so I just took like a 5 minute excerpt which is focused a bit more on the mind over matter issue, because this is something that a lot of people struggle with, how to help themselves, in here, right? Because that's part of the equation, right? Again, taking a holistic perspective, everything matters, everything is important. So anyway, take a look, just watch this. It's just me. I cut out my clients and stuff from it. You might hear just a few sounds in the background, but basically, I'm addressing this issue and just giving some tips and tricks on how to help yourself, how to change your perspective, change your beliefs, and change your moods, etc. Through all of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and definitely, I hope you become part of our Q&A. It's only $25 a month, and if you don't like it, you stop, and there's lots of bonus stuff in there. So anyway, without further ado, enjoy the video. So, because this is not easy. So, for example, even intellectually, we can say all the right things intellectually and we can understand, but that doesn't change the underlying belief. I can say I'm not afraid, but that doesn't mean I really believe it deep inside, right? So, like, one of the reasons why I like sharing my struggles with muscle testing is to demonstrate to people how easy it is for us to deceive ourselves. So I'm a guy that has been into these kinds of things like muscle testing for 40 years
Mm,
or more than that, since I was a young teenager, or really going back to since I was 10 years old,
mhm.
right? So 47 years later, I go finally to do something that I believe is very easy, and I'm still struggling. I'm like into this a year later, and I'm still not getting around it. I'm doing it, but it's not easy for me, right? And because there are certain beliefs that are still blocking me. So we have to understand it's not so easy to change our beliefs, but we can change them. Like one of my beliefs is I'm just like too overjoyed. Like I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I can actually do this. It really is this easy. It's you're hitting on a key. Let me give you some analogies to your situation. The first thing is you don't have to know what it is. You don't have to discover the source. You just have to change. So a lot of people have your experience because, and I'll use Japanese people as an example, because so when a Japanese person is within their society, like you, within your own culture, within your family culture, within your national culture, within whatever your local culture is, you have developed certain beliefs and such that will often keep you pinned down. And so in Japan, often when a Japanese person goes and lives overseas, they become a different individual. It's like they have a completely different personality and they become much more free. There's like a lot of pressure is off their shoulders, right? So your experience when you went away to university, it's like, oh, there's like a huge weight over your shoulders.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean necessarily that anybody else is putting that weight on your shoulders, but when you come back home, whether you're just even in your country, even if it doesn't have to be family, it can be just your national culture, whatever. There can be all kinds of expectations and weight that you put upon yourself,
Mm.
right? And we have to learn, in some cases, this is a very negative thing. So we have to learn how to remove that slowly. So it's good to meditate. Like what you can do is you meditate on that feeling you had when you were at the university.
Mm.
You don't have to pinpoint. This is not necessarily a logical troubleshooting thing. You
Mm.
just meditate on that feeling of freedom, that unburdened feeling that you had,
Mhm.
and bring that back into your life now.
It's like try to generate that feeling.
Yes, exactly. You try to generate it. So what'll happen is when you focus on that feeling, you are living that feeling.
Mhm.
Memory, right? So this is what negative memories are the same thing. We sit there and we think about negative things, or so if you think about that same memory in a negative way, oh my God, I wish I was back in college. Oh man, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Live right. You live the good feeling and say, yes, this is the feeling I want now.
Mhm.
So the thing is, you know how to be that way. So be that way. You have the experience of it. That's a huge, so that memory becomes a really good tool for you that you can use like for meditation or to help guide you,
Mhm.
right? Because that's a huge part of it. A lot of people have that kind of issue, if not everybody.
Crazy.
So there's a couple other things that I could mention about that, a couple of other tricks. Well, one is like, we could do emotion code sessions and see if there are trapped emotions related to, being at home, which there probably are. Another, though, is trying to reprogram your beliefs. So, for example, let's imagine, let me take a different situation, something that's maybe a little bit easier to grasp. Imagine that you had a parent that was very abusive, right? And you have all these negative memories of that, right? Change your memories of that parent.
Mhm.
Focus on, find positive things. Now, for some people, they were seriously abused. You can't really use this tool. If it was actually 100% negative, there's nothing to reach for. But in many cases, we can change that past. We can look at that past in a totally different way, and we can say, wow, oh my God, now I understand. I can't believe how much my mother or father, whoever, wow, they loved me so much.
Mhm.
You can completely change your perspective of an individual from someone that abused you to someone that drowned you in love.
Mhm.
In many cases, there are ways to do that. And so that's kind of an easier thing to understand. But you can also do that with a location. So you might have a lot of negative associations with these locations, with your hometown, etc. Just change it. You let go, or yeah. So as Louisa just texted, let go of the negative stuff. And the way you let go of the negative stuff is by trying to focus on positive stuff.
Mhm.
See only good things. I mean, you might try this exercise, and at first you might say, "No, man, there's nothing good about my
Mhm.
hometown." You know, you might have that feeling, but with a little help, you might be able to see actually that there are positive things.
Mhm.
You might be able to. So that's another way, right? So there's a lot of different methods and techniques for things like this to try to disassociate, to try to get you to actually you actually change your past. I mean, it's unbelievable. We say, well, how can you change the past? The past is done,
Mhm.
but it's really a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective. It's like, okay, you only saw the tree from one side. And for the first time in your life, you go and you look at the tree from the other side, and you're like, oh my God, is that really the same tree? I I had no idea. And you have that capability when it comes to looking back at the past. You actually have an ability to look at things from a totally different angle and perhaps see things that you never saw before.